Hello again there folks, Lone Adventurer here. Thank you very much for stumbling your way upon my channel and joining me for this adventure. This is part 2 of my playthrough of the Ferryman, which is a solo post-apocalyptic game. If you haven't seen part 1, there'll be a link up in the corner of the screen right about now and in the description down below. We're not going to spend any time doing an overview of the game or anything because hopefully you've already seen part 1. So we'll be getting straight into the gameplay. Before we do that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more adventures just like this one. So the designer of the game, Cody, commented on the first video and let me know a couple of sort of minor rules that I had not done correctly. So just a couple of clarifications before we get started. First of all, if we move into a mission site or into Sprocket, we still have to spend gasoline. Those locations are treated as barren zones, so we will have to spend 1d6 gasoline. So we've been working at a bit of an advantage in that sense. I'm not going to retrospectively take that gasoline off. We're just going to start doing that from now. The other thing is working out an impassable zone when you're doing general navigation. So I moved from the mission site down into this location. We rolled impassable and I put impassable in one of the possible places we could go, whereas actually it should have been in the one we were moving into. So we moved down here, we rolled, we found out that that location was impassable, that zone, and so we get bounced back as if we've run up against a cliff and we've had to turn back, and then we have to work out a different way to go. So I'm going to rub out the impassable zigzag I've put on there and we'll add it into here instead. Alright, so the situation is we need to try and get back to Sprocket in order to complete our mission. So we're just going to have to crack on and try and do that. I might try and go back this way. I want to get back there as quickly as I possibly can, really. So here we go. We're going to go into this location here as our first move. Now that I think about it, that location is rugged, which means we would spend 2d6 gasoline just to get in there. But this is the shortest route back, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it'll take quite a bit further going the other way. So I guess I'm going to do this. Hopefully it's not a bad move. So that's quite good. 4 points of gasoline. Takes us down to 42. As you can see here, we are not in the best of shape. We've got no rations, no ammo, not much in the way of tokens. So we could stay here and have an encounter. We could explore this location, but I want to just get back really at this point, I think. Or shall we? Shall we explore? Shall we do one explore? But we could end up having some combat, and that would be quite bad. No, we're just going to keep going. We're going to go here. That is into some dunes. For dunes, we roll 1d6 for gasoline consumption, and we've got a 2 there. And remember, that is because we have Detour in our party. Detour means we only roll 1d6 instead of 2 in dunes. So that was 2 points of gasoline, taking us down to 40. Let's keep going down here. That's into a mission site, so that counts as barren. 1, we're being quite lucky with these gasoline rolls. Keep it going down here into dunes. Moving around is quite expensive. That's taking us down to 34 gasoline. We're going to keep it going over here into this barren location. It's costing us 4 gasoline, and then down into Sprocket for additional 4 gasoline, so that's a total another 8, which is taking us down to 26. We are in Sprocket, so we can complete our mission. Let's just remind ourselves what we can do in Sprocket. We can rest, but none of our companions have lost any HP. We can repair, gain 1d6 AP, or spend X tokens to gain X XP. That's very expensive. We'll just go for 1d6, because our AP is down to, that's our armour plating, it is down to 43. 2. Not great, but better than nothing. So our armour plating is going up to 45. Then we could theoretically recruit, and then we could take on another mission, and then we can barter and hopefully get some stuff. But let's look at the mission to start with. So this is the All Hail to the Kang mission. Return to Sprocket. Upon arrival, gain 100 tokens. Till we meet again, son. Adios. That is huge. 100 tokens is a very nice thing to have. So I'm going from a paltry 4 up to 104. That's pretty sweet. And hopefully we can now get some ammo or some rations. I mean, it would be nice to get both, but I don't think that's an option. Let's just find out. So barter. Select a supply type, rations, ammo, first aid or gasoline, and roll 2d6 to determine the quantity and cost. The lowest die will determine the quantity you can buy, and the highest die will determine the cost in tokens. Roll separately for each supply type and re-roll doubles. You can then trade any 2 supplies for one of your choosing, with no limit on trades, and you can sell a trinket for 1d6 tokens. Rightio, so we definitely need to stock up. Hopefully this is not going to prove to be too expensive. So we need some rations. Oh, so we can buy 4 at 5 each. That's very expensive. Okay, so I'm going to go for all 4, so it's going to cost me 20, taking me down to 84 tokens, up to 4 rations. And ammo, oh, exactly the same. So another 20 for 4 ammo, down to 64. And then, well, the other things we could do it with, first aid or gasoline. So gasoline, so I can buy a maximum of 6 gasoline. I mean, you can use up 6 gasoline just to move into a single zone. So I feel like it's inevitable that I'm going to run out of gasoline. So I'm not going to waste my money on 6 gasoline, because that just seems futile. I'll get some first aid. 1. We can buy 1 first aid for 2 credits. So we're down to 62 tokens and up to 7 first aid. Right, so that's our All Hail to the Kang mission complete. We've still got the Mad Love mission going on, but that's dependent upon finding Brom, and we need a rumour or to just find him. So that's sort of just with the gods, as it were. So I think we should take on a new mission. So here we go. I think it's 2d6. That is Charter from Hell. You overhear an arrogant brat throwing a fit at another driver for not giving him a ride. Fed up with the commotion, you step in and demand to know what his deal is. He eventually calms down and admits he's bored with colony life and wants adventure, proposing you take him on a tour of the wasteland. Percy has joined your party for the duration of this mission. Oh, I suppose Kang has now left our party then. Kang has left our party. Alright, so we're going to go to a mission site. It has to be a new one. You can only use each mission site once. You show him a wasteland landmark. Is it a nuclear crater? A massive rock with a sculpted visage? Or maybe it's a crashed UFO. Alright, show Percy some action. Engage in a fight with any enemy without suffering any damage. Oh wow. Then return to Sprocket and we might get some tokens. Right, I'm just going to make notes about our mission. So Percy has got a little bit of details on the companion table. This bus is filthy. This companion can only be recruited temporarily. Special, if you encounter harvesters, you may trade Percy to avoid combat and gain 2d6 supplies of your choosing. And then if you have the keyword luxury, he offers to pay 50 tokens for the items. Lose keyword if you do. Okay, alright, well that's a thing that we don't need to worry about. I'll just add Percy to our roster of passengers here. So with that done, I think it's probably time to head on out. We need to get to a mission site, so I think we'll go this way. It's our first time in this location, so we need to roll on the terrain table. 4 gives us rugged. That is awful news, because rugged means we will lose 2d6 gasoline. 6. So that takes us down to 20 gasoline. Then we need to roll for a travel event, since it is our first time into this location, this zone. 2. You encounter a caravan willing to barter. Choose one type of supply and roll to find out the cost and quantity the caravan will offer. Additionally, you can trade any 2 supplies for one of your choosing with no limit on trades. Alright, so I think we should go for ammo here. We can buy 2 at a cost of 6. That's expensive, but I think I should probably do it. So that's taking us down to 50 tokens, but taking us up to 6 ammo. I don't think I can do any additional trading at a 2 for 1 trade cost. I think we'll have to skip that. So we are going to carry on into the mission site. Mission sites are the same as Barren for gasoline cost. So that's costing us 5. So we're going down to 15 gasoline. And we show Percy something crazy. Maybe it is an ancient building of some kind from before the fall. Let's say it's some kind of clock tower that we are showing him. Alright, we're going to carry on. We need to get into a fight. So we're just going to sort of mooch around until that happens. I need to cross off that mission site because we've used it. And we're going to go back into this. Are we going to go back into a rugged location? Not voluntarily. We'll go down here and we will find out the terrain of that location. 3 is another rugged. That's appalling news. Oh no, sorry, I didn't look that. I made a mistake there. Rugged, assign 1 die to represent the gasoline spent and the other the AP. So we shouldn't have lost quite as much gasoline, but that's on me. I think we'll just accept that. 5 and 5, brutal. So that takes us down to 10 gasoline and 40 armor plating. We roll for a travel event in this location. That's another caravan willing to barter. That is good news. I need some. What do I need? I feel like more ammo is the way forward. So 3 at a cost of 6 each. Am I going to buy that much? Seems quite expensive. Shall we just buy 2 at 12? So that would take us down to 38 tokens. Additional 2 ammo up to 8. And then we will carry on. Or shall we stay here and explore? No, I'm going to move this way a little closer to Sprocket because I know I'm going to want to go back there before too long. Find out the terrain of this table. 6, impassable. That's good news, isn't it? So we bounce back. That's impassable. And we need to try a different location, a different direction. So I guess we'll go down here. 2, barren. That's more like it. Normal, barren zone. Travel event. 5. The wasteland trembles as the sound of engines and drums fill the air. A war party. Page 4. Oh wow, this is a new thing. We haven't had a war party yet. Alright, so a war party is a kind of roaming threat. There are 2 types of roaming threats. There are war parties and there are sandstorms. So we are going to establish an adjacent zone in which the war party is currently located, and they will move around the map, and if at any point they move into a location where we are, then we will have to fight the war party. So we're going to roll a d6. 1. So that means that the war party is currently located here. And now we'll have to start moving them around as we play. Right, so that is that. We can move off, and actually we're going to move away from that roaming threat into the next location. So we're going to roll for terrain type. 1 means it's barren, more good news. We need to roll for gasoline consumption. I think I might have skipped that in the last go, possibly. Never mind, we're down to 9 gasoline. We need to have a travel event, since it is our first time into this location. 1, the desolate landscape is gripped by an eerie stillness devoid of life. -1 threat. I don't think I have any threat at the moment. I don't seem to have noted that down anywhere, so we can ignore that and carry on. We are now going to stay in this location and we are going to explore. We're going to roll D66. The blue will be our first digit, the red our second. 1-1. As you get closer to your destination, it suddenly disappears right in front of you, proving to be nothing but a mirage. This unexpected realization results in the loss of 2d6 gasoline. Of course it does. 9. So that is all our gasoline gone, which is surely bad news. Now we need to mark this location with an X because we have now explored it. And what now? I mean, probably we're going to be rolling on that stranded table. If you ever become stranded, roll 1d6 on the table below to resolve an event. After rolling on the stranded table, you may take a camp or travel action if you find gasoline. If I find gasoline. Okay. 1. The circling buzzards above serve as a grim reminder of the fate that awaits you, +1 threat. So we need to record threat. So I'm just going to add a little threat tracker here. So we can camp, or we can travel if we find gasoline. So presumably we can just camp regardless because we're here, we're not going anywhere, we can camp. I mean, camping doesn't look like it's going to help too much with finding gasoline. I can't see any event in the camp events table that results in you finding gasoline. No. So I guess we just keep on rolling on the stranded events table. So you can combat, if you roll 2, you might get some gasoline. I'm just having a quick scan through here. 4 can get you some gasoline, but it looks quite brutal. 5 can get you some gasoline, and 6 you die. Alright, okay, so let's keep going. On the stranded events table. 3. A downpour of toxic rain descends, corroding everything it touches. Suffer 2d6 AP damage. If you take a camp action this turn, suffer 1d6 wounds as well. Well, we won't do that, but we are going to take 7 AP damage. So that's 7 armor plating damage, taking us down to 33. And I think we've just got to keep on rolling until we die or find some gasoline. 3, that's the same. Toxic rain, that's another 9 points of AP damage. That takes us down to 24. So it might be that our vehicle gets completely destroyed and we lose that way. Don't know why I rolled 2 dice. Just the 1 die should be rolled. 4. A group of harvesters approaches you and presents an offer. How about we do a switcheroo for those prime looking fellas you've got there? So we can either attack, we can trade lives for gasoline, or we can refuse their offer. I think we can trade in Percy, can't we? Percy is our current mission person. Yeah, we can trade Percy to avoid combat and gain 2d6 supplies of our choice. That might be the best option, really. If we take him back to town, we could get... Once we've had a fight, this is, because we haven't had a fight yet. Yeah, we'll probably get 30 tokens if we take him back to town, having had a fight, which we haven't had yet. Or we could trade him right now for 2d6 gasoline. And that sounds like a fun option to me. I'm going to give him to the people harvesters. So Percy is gone. and hopefully we roll high. Quite a lot depends upon this. I've just remembered I should have been moving the roaming threat around. 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we are up to 8 gasoline. Fantastic. I say fantastic, it's not super fantastic. What am I doing now? The roaming threat. So let's see what's going to happen with them. During the threat phase, so I think that's, every round that we play now, we have to move them, basically. So we're going to move them. They can't go this way because that's impassable. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. So they're going to go off that way. I think we're going to prematurely end the game just to see how that works. So I've got a feeling that probably the logical thing to do is to carry on a little bit and try and complete a couple of missions, hopefully improve. But I think we're just going to finish up the game right now. I mean, we've got some first aid, we've got some ammo, we've got some rations. So you never know, we might be able to complete successfully. I haven't looked at the leaving the map table. If you remember, the way you finish the game is you move to the edge of the map and then you declare that you have finished, and we look at a special table, the Exodus table. So we're going to give that a go, I think. We're going to move down here. This is a new terrain, so we need to roll to see what type of terrain it is. 2 gives us barren, costing us 1d6 gasoline. Just the 2, that's okay. Taking us down to 6 gasoline. We need to roll on the travel events table. 6. While driving through a graveyard of burnt out vehicles, you come to the frightening realization that you've entered a treacherous minefield. We can either backtrack, that's annoying, isn't it, or take our chances. I think we'll take our chances, so we're going to roll a d6. On a 4 to 6, you navigate through the minefield unscathed. Alright, so we've got to the end of the map, we've got to the edge of the this part of the country, and we can try and leave. If you are reading this, it means you are ready to begin a journey into the unknown, seeking new territories that hold the promise of hope. If you take too much damage or run out of any supply type, you are dead. If you run out of a supply, you must return to your previous zone and gather more before trying to leave. So I'm not sure which it is, actually, because it says if we run out of a supply type, we're dead, but if we run out of a supply type, we can return to the previous zone. So I'm not sure which of those options. Do we die instantly, or do we get a chance to return and carry on? But let's roll on the table and see what happens. 4. So I think we're aiming for a 6, basically. If you had the keyword target or debt, Overlord Eris has sent a war party to pursue you. We haven't got those things, so we can keep rolling. 1. Powerful sandstorms lie ahead. All you can do is take a risk and move forward. Suffer 3d6 AP damage. That's pretty hardcore. 9, 10, 11 AP damage. That takes us down to 13. We've got to keep on going if we want to try and leave. 4, that's the... Have we had that one? Yes, we have. That was the keywords target and debt, which we don't have. 4 again. 3. The rumbling of hungry bellies nearly drowns out the roar of the engine. Spend 2d6 rations or roll on the starvation table. Okay, so I guess we spend the rations or roll on the starvation table. It's one or the other. So I don't have to spend the rations. Or does that mean spend 2d6 rations if you can, or alternatively roll? I'll spend the rations. 7. So that is all of our rations, meaning we have got no rations left. Does that mean we are dead? Because we have run out of rations, and it says if you run out of any type of supply, you are dead. 5. After a sweltering day of travel, you choose to set up camp for the night and catch up on some much needed rest. As you begin to doze off under the stars, a sudden jolt pulls you from your dreams, accompanied by the chilling growls echoing through the darkness. Realization hits hard. You've unwittingly camped right above a den of dust dogs, their frothy mouths and gleaming pink eyes suggesting you could be their next meal. Combat beasts, 1d6 wounds for 1d6 turns. Oh, so we've got to do a bunch of combats here. 6! We've got 6 turns of combat with these beasts. Could be interesting. Good though, because we haven't done a huge amount of combat, have we? Right, so it was 1d6 and then wounds. So we're going to work out our initial attack strength. So our initial attack strength is 6. I'm not going to spend any ammo on this first round. And the dogs get 3. So we've survived round 1 of combat. Next round mine is 4. I'm again not going to spend any ammo. 4 for them as well. And since it is equal, that means we suffer no damage. That's round 2 of combat. Round 3, I've rolled a 6, so that is a guaranteed success. Round 4, I've rolled a 2. I think I'm going to risk taking some damage. Oh, and they've rolled a 2 as well. So that was round 5, I think. Round 6, I've rolled a 1, and they've rolled a 6. That means we've taken 5 wounds. That's pretty bad. But we have got plenty of first aid, so I'm going to negate all of that. Am I? 5 wounds. I'm going to negate 2, down to 5 first aid, and I'm going to let Detour bite the bullet. So Detour is no more. So we keep rolling on the Exodus table, hoping above hope that we eventually roll a 6. 3. Oh, that's the starvation. That's the Hungry Bellies one. We have no rations left, so presumably we now roll on the starvation table. Here it is, over here. Alright, so this is a new table to us. It doesn't sound like a fun one. 6. One by one, your limbs are ruthlessly severed and hung over the crackling fire. The aroma of your sizzling flesh fills the air, enticing you to savour it before your mind slips into darkness. You are dead. So you can see this game is definitely quite brutal. Yeah, the aim is to get to the edge of the map, roll on that Exodus table and hope you roll a 6. And everything else is pretty sucky. But there you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. That was the Ferryman. It's a fun little exploration game with pre-programmed events and tables. A little bit like something like 2D6 Dungeon, where all the experiences you're having are already laid out for you. So it's quite a nice one if your brain is tired and you don't feel like using your own imagination. Everything you need to conjure up the experience that you're having is right here in this book. And if you like post-apocalyptic fiction, then this might be the one for you. It's from Cody Spears at Nightbird Games. There'll be links down in the description if you want to check it out yourself. Otherwise, folks, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.